And computer host. Oops. Whoops. Whoops. Just whoops. Okay. Facebook. Go live. Got it. Cool. Got it. Hello. If you're here to watch Fredi, I'm just getting set up on Zoom and Facebook Live. I have a few more things to do, and then I'll have a kind of test, and the show will start at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 5:05 p.m. Pacific. And this is just a test to get started. So we're just going to be setting up for a little bit. Please come back and watch the show at 8:05 right here on Facebook Live. If you'd like to watch it on Zoom, you can do so. Both are free platforms for this production. Just go to johnfisher.biz. That's JOHNFISHER.biz. And this is just a technical setup. Thanks. Hello, we're just getting set up for tonight's performance at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time and 5:05 Pacific Time, right here on Zoom and Facebook Live. If you'd like to watch on Zoom, just go to johnfisher.biz, johnfisher.biz. This is a technical setup. So we're going to do some tests. This is the first set of tests. And now this is, whoops, there we go. This is the second set of tests. And now this is the third set of tests. Okay, so now we're going to try our standard tests, which begin with the echo. We're listening for odd echo or mechanical sounds, metallic sounds, anything odd. Okay, and now we're testing sync. How is the sync? Good. And now we're testing the zoom feature. And now we're testing for loss of screen. Does the screen? Great. And finally, we are testing for distance of sound. How is the distance of sound? How is it at a distance? Distance of sound from the microphone. Thank you very much. And I'll be right back. Hello, we're now testing on Facebook Live. Our tests on Facebook Live. This is our mic test 1. Our mic test 2. And our mic test 3. And then here are our individual tests. We are testing for echo and metallic sounds, metal sounds, distortions. We're now testing for sync. We're now testing for zoom feature. We're now testing for loss of screen. And finally, we are testing for distance of sound. How is the distance of sound? Distance of sound. How is our distance of sound? We're testing for distance of sound, distance of sound. Okay, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. We were just getting set up. Our performance begins at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight and 5:05 p.m. Pacific time tonight. So join us then for Fredi. If you'd like to watch it on Zoom, you can do so at johnfisher.biz, johnfisher.biz. Wherever you watch it, it is a free presentation. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in a bit. Yay! Hello and welcome. We're just trying a sound test right now. This is a sound test. Testing, 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 testing. Thank you. We'll begin at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time and 5:05 Pacific. Hello, I'm John Fisher, and this is Fredi. A week ago, when I started working on this project, which is when I start all my projects, after the previous one is done, I go right into the next one. I read about something very strange, and that took place in the most horrific place in history. A family camp was set up there. Now, I couldn't believe this. It was a place where families lived together, that they were saved, they were preserved, and this was a place where only people died or were worked to death. And suddenly I discovered this place where for months, families lived. So as a friend of mine put it, I went into the rabbit hole, I dug deep into the rabbit hole, and I found as a part of this story, a very interesting individual. This is Fredi. Guten Abend, mein Name is Fredi. My name is Fredi. Yeah, I was born in Aachen, Germany in 1916. Aachen used to be the capital of all of Germany, the first great German empire. It was ruled by Charlemagne. That's what the French call him, but we call him Charles the Great, Karl der Große. Yeah, it was the first German empire. I was born during the Great War, and my father fought in the German army during the war. He was a patriot. Yeah, and this is my city. This is where I grew up. I loved my father. He was such a wonderful man. He was a butcher, and every day after school, when I was 10, my brother Rudy, he was a year older, and I would go down to the butcher shop to see my dad, and he'd be there chopping meat, and he would hand it to us to deliver to his customers. You're good boys. You are, Rudy, you're a scholar. And Fredi, you are an athlete, yeah. But remember, you must always do something physical. Be a butcher or a baker or a mechanic. Yeah, people like people who make things, right? They don't like people who think, especially people like us. They don't want us to think. They don't think too much. Do something useful. Here you go, Rudy. Take this and deliver it for me. You know where to go. And Fredi, you take this. You take this to Frau Ludendorff. Her father and her husband were both great generals. Feldmarshal Ludendorff was my commander in the Great War. He would have won the Great War if the Kaiser hadn't come in and messed things up. You take that to Frau Ludendorff and you show what a good boy you are. And if the Feldmarshal is there, you say to him, hey, it is me, the son of my father. Yeah, I have his name, Fredi. You say that to him, yeah? Good boys, good boys. I'm proud of you, proud of you. And after I delivered my things, then I could go and play American football. I didn't even know. I wasn't even sure what my favorite position was. Was it quarterback? Boom. Or receiver? Ah! I think I loved best being a tackle. Yeah. Ah! I like to tackle the other boys. Roll around on the ground with the boys. They've always saying to me, Fredi, that's enough tackling. You don't have to be so thorough in your tackling. But I loved it. I loved to tackle boys. It was my favorite part of the game. But before I got to go to practice, I had to go by and see my father, always every afternoon to make the deliveries. And he always gave me the same one. This is for Frau Ludendorff. You remember her? You give this to her, and you wish the Feldmarshal well. Tell him that he was a great man, and that one day Germany will be great again, Fredi. But remember, you be true to yourself, Fredi. You be true to yourself, whatever happens. You insist on being you. And I took it and I ran, and my father stayed there as a butcher shop. When my mother heard, she went crazy. She went insane when she heard that my father had died. What are we going to do? What am I supposed to do? He left me nothing, nothing, no money. This stupid butcher. He left me two stupid boys to raise. How can I raise you two? You're stupid. What a stupid man. Why did I ever marry him? I can't go on. I cannot stay here. We're broke. We have no money. We have nothing, nothing. Fredi, Mother has left. She's not here. The neighbors said that she left in the morning and got on a train. All of her clothes are gone. She's gone. She's left us, Fredi. Fredi, we can stay here. We don't have to go to the orphanage, but you cannot tell anybody that we are here together. You're only 10. I'm 11. They will come and get us, so say nothing to anybody. And Fredi, you must be serious at school or they will notice you. No more of that toe ball or whatever it is you play. Okay? You'll be a serious boy and don't tell anybody we're here alone together. We'll take care of each other. Okay? All right, Fredi. Oh, but I didn't care. I didn't want to go to school. I stopped going to school. I was on my own. I could do what I wanted. And I joined the Maccabees. It was a Jewish youth organization, like the Hitler Youth, except for Jews. And they loved me. And I was getting older, so they made me a counselor of the smaller children. And I taught them calisthenics because I wanted them to exercise. Because one day we would go to Palestine, next year in Israel, we used to say, and we would form a Jewish state and we had to be strong. So I had them do the Dutch windmills in tribute to all the Dutch Jews. And they got stronger and stronger and the children loved me. They called me Fredi the Great. They were wonderful. And I said, you are all Maccabees. You will bring the Jewish state. You will bring victory to the Jewish people. And I'd go home and I'd say to Rudy, Rudy, why do you read the Torah? Why do you study like a scholar, Rudy? You could be in the Torah. You could be a Maccabee. Don't you understand? Come with us in the Maccabees. Become a Jewish youth leader, Rudy. Don't you see what's happening? Don't you see? The Nazis are coming to power. You must be serious. You need to study. You need to take this all seriously, Fredi. But I can't. We're free. And the children love me. I would take them for jogs. We'd run all over Aachen. People loved to see us. They'd wave to us. And as I got older, people would say, are you interested in little children? Children younger than you? And I said, no, I like people my age. I like boys my age. Yeah, it was wonderful. Until my mother came home. She came back to us with her new husband. Oh, my boys, I'm back. Oh, my boys, you must meet your new father. This is Max. Max, come meet my sons, my beautiful sons. This is Rudy, he's a scholar. And this is Fredi, he's an athlete. Hello, I'm pleased to meet you. I'm pleased to meet you. I'm proud to be your father. Oh, Max, you're so much fun. I want you to go outside so I can talk to Fredi. And take Rudy with you. Huh? You get to know each other. Fredi, my little prince Fredi. I hear they call you Fredi the Great. I'm so proud of you. But Fredi, I hear rumors. My little boy, I hear that you like other boys. Fredi, you can't like other boys. No, you cannot be that way. There is no place for people who like men who like men. There's no place for them in society. You must try to be normal, to fit in. Do you understand, Fredi? Do you? I love you, Fredi, but I want you to be safe and like everybody else, normal. But I couldn't be normal. I loved all my boyfriends. They were so much fun. They were so cute. We were all the same age and in love. So many of them, so much love. It was great. And I would take the children out and I would show them how to leap. Say, leap. You need to leap. Keep leaping. Keep leaping. And then one day, Rudy came to me. He said, the Nuremberg laws have made us illegal. We can't go to school. We can't do anything.
we need to leave, Fredi. I'm going with Maza and Max. We're going to Bolivia. You must come with us. How can I go to Bolivia? There's nothing for me in Bolivia. You're going to be a rabbi in Bolivia? They don't need rabbis in Bolivia. Are you crazy, Rudy? You must be insane. You must come with us. Don't you understand? Fredi, you'll be illegal here. They will hunt you down, you especially. I could never leave my children. They're my charges. They're my little Maccabees. I'm responsible for them. I could not leave until they could leave, Rudy. And then if I did leave, I would go to Palestine, to Jerusalem, to start the new state next year in Israel. You go, Rudy. But don't trust Maza. She's not trustworthy. Make your own decisions. Do what Father told me to do. Be yourself. Don't listen to Maza. Don't ever listen to her. And they left for Bolivia. And I stayed. And soon I had to live too. Rudy was right. I couldn't fit in. I would be like put into a labor camp or something. I didn't want to stay. So I left Aachen. I went to Frankfurt, but Frankfurt was the same. Then I went to Dresden. There was a community of people just like me, men like me, but then we were illegal too. I was illegal as a Jew and as a man who loves men. I realized that I was twice blessed. Yeah, God must love me more than anybody to make me so special. So I went to Czechoslovakia, where they didn't care whether I was a Jew or a homosexual. I found out that's what I am. They didn't care. I could do anything. And they had a Maccabees organization there. And I trained them as well. And one day we were exercising and I saw this handsome man coming across the plaza. He was so distinguished. He was wearing this beautiful black coat and he had these big round glasses that made him look so intelligent. And he smokes these big cigarettes, very European, not the tiny ones like the Americans, but big. Your name is Fredi. I'm pleased to meet you, Fredi. How old are you? I am the same age. Can you believe it? Everybody loves you, Fredi, in the Maccabees, the organization, the children. I wonder, Fredi, would you go out on a date with me? My name is Hansel. I am a doctor. I am studying to be a doctor at the university. I know I act very sophisticated, but I am just like you. I'm just a boy. Would you like to go out? I thought we could go see the operetta. It's about the Prague Golem. You know the Prague Golem? No, well, the Prague Golem is right here in Prague. He is a huge mud robot who is going to come and rescue the Jews. It's a true story. You come with us. I like you, Fredi. I like you a lot. I'm glad you've come to Prague. So we went. And from then on, we were together. I bought Fredi a flat. We lived in it together. I bought him a sofa. It was so wonderful. And then one day it snowed. And I love the snow. Doctors love snow. It's beautiful. It's white. It's clean. But I did not like the snow that day. It was a March day. And with the snow, came the Nazis. It was March 1939, and the German tanks rode into Prague. The motorcycles, even Hitler himself came into Prague. He had chains on his tires for the snow. And from then on, I only thought the snow brought evil. And it did. Hansel was right. They closed the schools. The Jews could not go to the schools. They were not allowed to be educated. They could do nothing. So I set up a secret school for the Jewish children. They would come and I would tell them about the Maccabees. I taught them all about the Maccabees. And also I led them in trainings so that they would be strong. I would lead them in punches. I told them when we get to Palestine, we must be strong. We will have to fight back. We will have to fight everyone to be free. We must be strong in the Maccabees. And Hansel taught them how to sing. They sang wonderful songs in the most beautiful voices. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. We had dances. Please don't take my sunshine away. Competitions, who was the best child dancer? You are my sunshine. And then one day, we were warned that the Gestapo was coming. Now, I had prepared the children for this. Some went up on the roof. Others went into the basement. I took some of them with me into the attic. They did not find us. We had escaped at that time. They were rounding people up. There were deportations from Prague now. They were sending people to different places. Some of the trains went north to Theresienstadt and others went east into Poland. But we didn't know what happened there because nobody came back from either place. We heard that Theresienstadt was okay, but we did not know about the East. What happened in the East? There were rumors that life was not bad in Theresienstadt. There was food, so why? But more important, what was going on in the East? So I went to the Maccabee leaders and I said, I must find out. I must find out what the trains do when they go to the East. But I will tell you, in every army, in every government, there are people like me. I will find one and I will ask him. Don't ask any more questions. I can do this. I will find out tonight where the trains go when they go east. So I went to a place that I knew men like me gathered. It was under the Charles Bridge in Prague, down by the Vltava. I went down there and I whistled. Guten Abend. How are you? How are you? I'm fine now that I've met you. You speak German. Yeah, I am German. I'm here with the government, the occupation government. I come from Berlin. What brings you here? Oh, I can feel on your uniform, you're in the Gestapo. That sexy skull and crossbones, yeah? Touch me, of course. Tell me, Gestapo man, I'm curious. Where do the trains go when they go east? I cannot talk about that. Of course you can. We're both criminals, aren't we? Article 175 makes us both criminals, homos. Yeah, you keep my secrets, I keep yours. You can tell me anything. Where do they go, Gestapo man? They go to the end of the line. And what happens at the end of the line? It's in Poland, yes, but what happens there? The end of the line is the end. the end. Touch me. Touch me, please. Yeah. The next day, I went back and I told the leadership of the Maccabees what I had found out. They were asking questions about how, and I said, I found out that is what is important. Don't ask how, that is not important. What is important is that I know, because I do. I know these things. I found somebody like me who worked in the Gestapo, all right? The trains that go to Theresienstadt are fine. They go to a relocation center there. It's a ghetto, basically, but the trains that go east into Poland, we cannot get on those trains. If somebody comes for you and says that you are to be sent, deported to Poland, do not get on the trains. Hide, wait for a train to Theresienstadt. No, you must listen to me. Knowledge is power. You must believe me. I know, I have it on authority. Do not go east. Go to Theresienstadt if you leave, but do not go east. That is when Hanso came to me. He had a look in his eye I didn't understand. I'd never seen him look this way before. He was so disappointed when he looked at me. He wasn't angry, but he shook his head and stared. And when he said what he said, my heart broke. How could you do that? Fredi, how could you make love to one of those pigs? They are evil. They are the devil. And so I didn't enjoy it. I was gathering information. Knowledge is power. It's the only way we could know. Don't go east, go to Theresienstadt. That's all I could find out, the only way. You will do anything to survive. Yes, yes. There are policies which are made by the Nazis, but then there are individuals. If we work with the individuals, we will survive. I cannot survive that way. I cannot, Fredi. I've been told I am to go east into Poland. I will go. No, I will go, Fredi. I will go. That is where they are sending me. Goodbye, Fredi. You broke my heart, Fredi. So, Hanso went east into Poland. I did not know there. And I went to Theresienstadt. Theresienstadt was very interesting. It was like a gigantic play. It was like a huge set. You see, it was designed to fool people from the Red Cross, from Switzerland and Scandinavia, who would come to see what went on in the concentration camps. How were the Jews treated? And so the Germans staged this beautiful town for them, Theresienstadt. There were bakeries and butcher shops and dances and happy children going to school, but it was all a facade, because when the Swiss went away, we went back to starving. But I knew I had to survive. And the way to survive was to help people. So I went to the commandant, head commandant. Can I take responsibility for the children, for teaching them? No, you cannot teach the children. That is not allowed. Jews do not get taught. No, I don't mean teach. I mean, it gives them a structure, gives them focus. Right now, they run around like criminals. They cause confusion. I give them activities, yeah? Very well. Yes, you are in charge of the children, Fredi. Dankeschön. Dankeschön, Herr Kommandant. And I gathered the children around me, and I told them about the Maccabees, and I trained them, these little children. Yeah, yeah. Next year in Israel, yeah. But it was too confusing. There were people everywhere. There were adults that got in our way. So I went back to the commandant and said, Commandant, Herr Commandant, can we have our own barracks just for the children? No, we cannot build you another barracks. But it is confusing with all the adults. We will build it. Me and the children, we will build the barracks ourselves, yeah? You give us some materials, we'll build it. All right, Fredi. Yeah. You can have your own barracks. And we built a barracks just for the children. Only the children could go in, and the teachers, I found the best teachers, and we laid out tables, and we gave children activities all day long, so they didn't think about hunger, they didn't think about confusion, they didn't think about fear, they just worked. And we taught them secretly. And I set up an art class. I went back to the commandant and I asked him for art supplies, and he gave them to us. He thought art was harmless. And I said to the children, now I want you all to draw a picture. It can be one of two things. It can be of a fantasy place, a place you'd like to escape to, a place in your head, or it can be of your daily life. What you see every day here in Theresienstadt, it can be that too. All right. Does anybody have anything they'd like to show us? Huh? Peter Gins, what do you have? Oh, Peter, this is beautiful. What is it? The moon, yeah. Oh, I can see the earth there. Everybody look at this. This is Peter's picture of the moon. Look at that. There's the earth in the background. You can see Africa and Europe. Peter, one day you will get to the moon, yeah? Does anybody else have a drawing? Anybody? Dina Babbitt, yes. What have you done, Dina? Oh, Dina. Yeah, Dina has drawn Theresienstadt. Come close, children, so you can see. Come close. Can you see what Dina has drawn? Do you see it? Does it look like Theresienstadt? There you see the Nazi grabbing the man, and another Nazi yanking a child away from his father, and everybody wears a yellow star like us. Dina, this is magical. Yeah, why do we wear yellow stars? Why? Peter, why? Yes, because we are sheriffs. We are all sheriffs, like in a Western. Thank you, Dina. We will save these. We will hide them away so that someday people can see how we lived here in Theresienstadt. You are wonderful children. Greta, how are you? How are your students? They are wonderful. Wonderful, Fredi. You really are, Fredi the Great, aren't you? The children love you. Thank you, Greta. But you seem sad sometimes. Oh, Fredi, why are you sad? Is it because you are not normal? I think about that a lot. I'm afraid. I'm lonely. There is nobody here for me. I want to be normal, and you can be, Fredi. You can be normal like everybody, and you will be happy. Would you take me to the dance tonight? I would love to dance with you, Fredi. Of course, Greta. That would make me happy. Da 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 da. Mama, 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 mama. Ba 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 ba. Greta, you are charming. I love you, but not in that way. I cannot love a woman that way. I'm not made that way. I'm different. I am not normal. I'm special in my special way. Thank you, Greta. But I cannot love you that way. It's a sad time for us. Not just my feelings about myself and my loneliness, but now transports were arriving and they were taking people, Jews, east. And we didn't know where. They were taking us out of Theresienstadt and taking us east. And we were confused. We didn't know where. And then a transport arrived with some people who did not come from Prague, which was unusual. They came from Bialystok. And I found out they were only children. So I, of course, wanted to bring them into the class, but they put them behind barbed wire. I could not talk to them. I couldn't even see them. And I went to the commandant. Herr Commandant, I see that children arrived from Bialystok. I would like to have them come into the class with my children. Yeah? Nein. They do not come into the class. They stay behind the barbed wire. Well, then can I go behind the barbed wire and teach them myself? Give them activities so they don't turn into little criminals? No. You stay away from those children, Fredi. Those children are not to be talked to. Do you understand me? Jawohl, Herr Kommandant. Of course. I'm sorry. I left his office and there was a little boy sitting on a bench just outside his door. I walked up to him. I said, hello, what is your name? Henrik. Henrik, where are you from, Henrik? Bialystok. You are from Bialystok. Why are you so scared, Henrik? I don't want to go east. What frightens you in the east, Henrik? The showers. The showers. Showers are good. They keep you clean, hygiene. It makes you healthy. I don't want to go to the showers, not in the east. No. What happens in the showers in the east, Henrik? Fredi! I told you not to talk to him. Go outside. Ross. Boy. Come in here. We have to do something. We have to do something. I talked to a little boy from Bialystok. He is afraid of showers in east. We have to find out what those boys know. We still don't know where the trains go when they go east. I have to get in there. I have to get over the barbed wire. I will get over the barbed wire tonight. Don't. All right, I will tell you. I am going to take this and I will pole vault over the barbed wire into the children's area from the children from Bialystok. Yes, I can do that. Of course I can. Yes, I was almost in the Olympics. They kept me out because I was Jewish, but I could have been a pole vaulter. I could have taken it out. I can do it. But I need a distraction. I need somebody to distract them so that I can do this. I don't know, a fight, a fire, so the guards aren't looking at me when I go. All right, tonight at midnight. All right, I will be waiting. So I stood there in the compound, waiting for the distraction. Waiting for somebody. Oh, there it was, a fight and a fire, good. And I ran towards the children's stockade. I was in. No, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. You couldn't, my Namen is, oh, you don't speak German. Czech, I don't speak any Czech. No, don't, no. I just came to see the children, the Kinder, yeah. Yes, I will go. Yes, I will go. I will go. Fredi, I told you not to go into the children's area, not the children from Bialystok. I told you. And I will send you east on the next transport. You're going to Auschwitz. They tied my hands. They led me to the boxcars. They were lined up, the longest train I'd ever seen. They opened up the boxcar. It was barely holding together. It stank terribly. They untied me and they pushed me on. And I stood up. And suddenly the car was filling up and I was crowded in. So many of us crammed into this tiny boxcar. We were all squished together. And then it started to get dark as we waited for it to leave. And then they closed the boxcar door. And it was dark. I couldn't see anything, and we were crammed together, and there was only one little pail for all of us to use, and soon it filled up and it sloshed over and went on our feet, and our feet froze because they were covered with piss, and it stank, and people started to groan in the boxcars. They were in pain, and I thought, this is why I exercise, this is why I take care of myself, to endure things like this. And we were 24 hours in the boxcar going east, and I thought I was going to collapse, and then I realized that I couldn't collapse because I was so packed in. And then I saw light coming through the cracks, and it got brighter and brighter, and the train stopped. And the door opened, and I was flooded with the brightest light I'd ever seen. It was incredibly bright. I couldn't see anything. And I was yanked off the train. And the stench, I didn't know what it was. It wasn't feces, it was dead bodies. There had been dead bodies in with us all night. They died in the transport. And then the stench was overwhelmed by the smell of burning flesh. And I was covered with ash. Ash covered me, and then I was pushed forward, and they yanked up my arm, and a woman stepped forward, and she started to brand a number on my arm. And I looked into her eyes, and she said, "You are lucky. You are being given a number. It means that you will live." And then they pushed me away. I was in a long line trudging through the mud, and I was headed towards a huge sign that said family camp, family camp. And they put a sign on me that said SB6. What did it mean? And we were led towards the family camp, and then we saw a sergeant standing on a packing crate in the mud, and he talked to us. "You are in Auschwitz-Birkenau, the family camp. You will be kept with your families here. You will bow to every German officer. You will bow to every German soldier. And you will obey the capos. They are Jews, but they are ruthless. If you do not obey the capos, you will be beaten. Which one of you is Fredi?" "Ah, Fredi, we have heard about you. You will be a capo. This is your truncheon." "I cannot, Herr Sergeant. I am sorry, but I cannot, Herr Sergeant. I cannot beat people. I cannot." "Then what will you do for us, eh, Fredi? How will you help us?" "I can organize the children." "Would I be allowed to organize the children, Herr Sergeant?" "You will have to talk to Dr. Mengele. He's over there. You go talk to him. He will tell you if you can organize the children." So I trudged through the mud. It was up to my knees. It stank. But the stink was better than the smell of burning flesh. And I tried not to think of the ashes falling around me. In the distance, I could see where they came from, a huge smokestack. I kept moving through the mud, and then I was standing there beside him. Dr. Mengele, he stood on top of a packing crate. He was facing a train that had just arrived, and the boxcars were unloading. He stood there with a tiny cigarette in his mouth, pointing to the left and then to the right. As people approached him, Jews, I was told later that if they were sent to the left, they would work. If they were sent to the right, so people sent to the left was the men, the healthy men, and some of the women. The people sent to the right for the old, the sick, many of the women, and all of the children. do you want? Mein Name ist Fredi, Herr Doktor. I want to teach the children in the family camp. You cannot teach Jews. It is not allowed. No, I don't mean teach them. I mean instruct them, give them activities so they don't turn into a nuisance to the German guards, to any of you, so they don't turn into thieves. I would also teach them German. That would impress people. It would help the guards if the children knew how to help them by speaking the language. You may do that, yeah. I like children, Fredi. That is your name, isn't it? Yes. Do you watch what I do? Yes. Do you notice? Do more people go left or go right? Most people you send to the right. You remember that, Fredi. So I organized a school for the children, and I did teach them German, but just a few words. I didn't waste a lot of time on that. All you need to know is Herr Sergeant, Herr Kommandant, and say Jawohl, and say Dankeschön. Be very polite. Jawohl, they never say nein. Unless you're accused of something, do not say nein. Now, I want you all to learn how to punch. I want you all to be a Maccabee, yeah? So punch, 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 punch. But don't tell anybody you know how to punch, yeah? No adults get to learn the punching, no. I went back to see Dr. Mengele. He was back on his crate doing what he had done the day before. You have done a good job, Fredi, with the children in the family camp. Very good work. Thank you, Herr Doctor. I wonder if you could give us our own barracks. The parents are in the way. They want to get involved. They confuse the children. No, but I will build the barracks. If it's the children, I will get people to help us. I promise, Herr Doctor. All right. Yes, and could you possibly give the children better food? They don't eat that much, and it's very hard for them to focus on their activities, on learning German properly without food. Yes, Fredi, I will help you. Yes, and please, Herr Doctor, the roll calls go on all morning. The little children are out in the cold. Could the roll call for the children be inside? That way they wouldn't get sick. They'd be made more productive, more helpful to the guards. Fredi, yes, but if one of those children does not respond to his name being called out, I will hold you responsible. Do you understand, Fredi? Yes. Yes, Herr Doktor. Dankeschön. So I set it up so that the children would not have to go outside and freeze for the roll call. But of course, what happened was one of the little children didn't wake up when his name was called, this naughty little boy, and I was blamed and I was punished. And I told myself, this is why I exercise, this is why I take care of myself, to endure things like this. And that I had survived, they had not killed me. I was still alive. And I thought it was my worst day in the camp, but I thought of the other people and how lucky I was. And then I looked up and I had a vision. It was like a combination of the drawings I had the children do. It was both a vision of a paradise, a magical place, and it was real. Walking across the compound was Hansel. He had been sent to Auschwitz and somehow he had survived. He walked right up to me and he said, Fredi, you're here. I'm so happy. Oh, Fredi, in the family camp, I should have realized all the children. Are you still Fredi the Great? Oh, Fredi. Do you know what the family camp is for? It continues alive, Theresienstadt. The Swiss and the Red Cross people, the people from Scandinavia kept asking what happens to the Jews when they leave Theresienstadt and go to Auschwitz. So there is the family camp, so they can come here and look at you and say, I saw that one at Theresienstadt. A very small number of all the people who come here come to the family camp. It is part of the lie that they tell. Oh, Fredi, I feel so bad about the way I talked to you. I came here and I did exactly what you did. I realized that to stay alive, I would have to work with the doctors here. They found out I was in the medical school and they gave me a job. And now I take care of the Nazis. That is all I do. Take care of Germans. But I learned that from you, Fredi. I'm sorry I judged you. You wonderful boy. You will always be my Prince Fredi. Oh, Fredi. Come with me. I will bandage you. I will help you. I will put you back together. Oh, 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 oh. Of course, I remember him. That was 80 years ago, but you don't forget somebody like Fredi. I was just a little girl. I had been in Theresienstadt with him, but he went before me. I followed 3 months later, and when I got off the train, I saw Fredi. He looked the same, but he had gray in his hair. He was only 28, 30, I don't know, but he was older. He'd become an older man, mature. No, he was always mature, but he looked older and careworn. What I remember, Fredi. I'm almost 90, but I will never forget Fredi. I was just a little of a boy, but Fredi kept us alive. He gave us hope with his art classes, his theatricals, his training to make us strong. I think he was trying to distract us from what was happening in the camp. And he did much of the time, but we could go out onto the steps of the barracks and we could see the selections. And in the distance, we could see the huge smokestack belching ash. There was an electric fence close to us. We used to like to go out and we'd touch the electric fence. And we'd get a shock. And we know that if you grab the electric fence, you would be electrocuted. We called that the little death. The big death. The big death was all around. Of course, I remember Fredi. I'm not so old or senile that I could forget somebody as wonderful as Fredi. He would make us come out in the middle of the winter. And he said, scoop up snow. Scoop up as much snow as you can and rub it on yourself. Rub the snow on and take a bath. Now scoop up more snow and rub your face. Clean yourself. And he saved hundreds of children because the Nazis selected the dirty ones for the gas chamber. The clean ones, they saved. He believed in hygiene. Yes, I remember Fredi. I was just a little girl. Now I have children of my own, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but then I was just a little thing. And Fredi had a boyfriend. We were so happy for him. I don't remember his name. We called him Romeo. He was so handsome. And they would lay together in his bunk, and they would laugh, and they would talk. And we didn't care. That all fell away in Auschwitz, all those judgments, all that anger about who people were and what they did. Nobody cared. People were either good or they were bad. And Fredi was pure good. And we were so happy that he had this man. And now I guess they'd be gay. But they were gay then because they were happy with each other in the midst of all the terror. They had each other, Fredi and Romeo. I wish such for my great-grandchildren, a Romeo. Yeah. I put on a play. I wanted the children to experience the joy of theater. So I built for them a stage. It was behind a false wall in the barracks so that nobody would know it was there. It was a tiny theater. And I told the children they could tell any stories they wanted. What story did they want to tell? And the children came back and said, we want to tell the story of Snow White. They all seen Snow White before the war started. I said, of course, but you must make it into your own story. And they did. And there was an older girl who asked if she could come and be with the children because she didn't want to work. She was sick. She was working too hard. She was convinced she would die. I said, of course, you will be the witch. And she was a wonderful witch. But the children wrote a satire. I didn't even realize it till I saw them perform. And the witch was obviously one of the SS guards. She was the evil SS guard. It was so charming. And then on the day of the performance, I invited some people to come see it. And then all of a sudden, walking through the door were 3 SS guards. They just walked into the theater. Achtung! Carry on. You, girl. You are too old. You are too old. What are you doing here? And he reached for his pistol. And as he reached for his pistol, I said, up, Herr Sergeant, how many people have you killed today already? How many people? I thought he would shoot me. But he didn't shoot me. He didn't shoot the girl. He put the pistol away. And then the SS sat down to watch the play. And I thought they can't watch this play. It's impossible. The play was a satire of the life in the concentration camp. The children, they'd come up with 2 worlds, a real world, which was called Lower Auschwitz, and an upper world, the higher world, which had luxury gas chambers and luxury crematoria, luxury ovens. I thought, oh my God, they're going to watch this. What would they think? What would they say? And they said that they watched the whole thing. And at the end, wunderbar, Kinder, wunderbar, Dankeschön, wunderbar. That was my lesson in satire. You can put something on stage and make fun of people, and they might not even notice. They hadn't said anything. They even let the girl go. And then after the performance, Hansel came to me. He seemed so agitated. I'd never seen him this way before. He came up to me. He said he had to talk to me. He was very nervous. We went out behind the barracks where nobody could see. He was very paranoid, looking over his shoulder. He said, I have to talk to you. Now listen to me. We found out what the designation on your shoulders, SB6, means. It means special treatment. 6 months. They are going to liquidate all of you in the family camp. A new batch of families are coming in from Theresienstadt. So all of you will be eliminated. You'll be gassed and burned. The 6 months, special treatment, 6 months, SB6. It means that in 2 weeks, your 6 months is up. You've been here for 5.5 months. Fredi, you will all die in 2 weeks. You must organize a revolt. You must fight back, and you must do it now before they are suspicious. Next week, they will start to carry more weapons. They'll start looking at you more closely. This week, you must strike back. You must try to take this part of the camp. Take it from them. I have to get back. Don't trust the doctors. The doctors all are against a revolt. They think the Nazis are going to save them because they are valuable, because they are doctors. Don't trust them. Don't listen to them. So I went to the leaders of the barracks and to the Maccabees. And I said, we have to revolt. I have it on good authority that we are dead. They will come for us in 2 weeks. And then they will gas us and burn us. I know, because I know one of the doctors and he knows. Our designation, SB6, special treatment, 6 months. 6 months is up in 2 weeks. We must take action. I know we have weapons. We do have weapons. A spoon can be a weapon. If you sharpen it, grabs a guard and slit his throat, and then you have his gun. We must do it. You sharpen your spoons, you sharpen stakes, you sharpen any piece of metal you can find. Tomorrow, in the middle of the day, I will blow this whistle. Spend the mornings near the guards, get near them. When I blow the whistle, everybody takes their weapon and when you slit their throat, takes their gun. And then lets the people out of the barracks and we run. Run for the fence, shoot it with the guns. And then run for the woods. I know it's a long shot. I know, but we might make it to the woods. We might make it to a town. We can hide in the basement. We at least will take some of them with us. Don't you see? We are the Maccabees. This is our opportunity. We cannot wait. King Antiochus told the ancient Jews they could not worship their gods. They had to worship the Greek gods. But this is the same. You will be Maccabees tomorrow when I blow my whistle. I then went to see the doctors. They wanted to see me. They'd heard what was happening. You cannot do this, Fredi. You cannot do this. The Germans have said they will spare us. They will spare all the doctors. They will also spare you, but they will not spare the children. I'm supposed to be spared and watch the children go off to the crematoria, to the gas chambers. No, Fredi, there'll be more children coming in the next shipment. That is why they're keeping us to take care of the new people, to take care of them, and you will take care of the new children. These are my children. I would just be another one of them. I'd be like you if I did this. No. Tomorrow I blow this whistle. And I recommend that you have a weapon, one of your scalpels, a sharpened spoon, and that you take action with the rest of us. Because if you don't, guess what? You will be left and they will kill you like they do all the survivors. Fredi, you cannot do this. You cannot do this, and you don't tell. Then they'll kill you also, right? You know too much. No, Fredi, you cannot. You cannot. They said they would spare us and they will spare you. Please be sensible. Do not do this. We will all end up dead. If you need to revolt, all of us will be killed. Then we will all be killed. But we will take some of them with us. Then I blow the whistle. This is our moment. I could not sleep. I was too restless. My head was full of thoughts, liberation, taking action. Maybe I'd get away with Hansel and we'd escape, or maybe I'd die, I don't know, but I could not sleep. So I went to a friend of Hansel's and mine, the doctor who I thought I could trust, and I asked for a sleeping draught. Luminal. He'd given it to me before so I could sleep, and he did. But I should not have trusted him. I was stupid. He poisoned me. And as it went down my throat, I could feel that it would put me to sleep much longer than I ever imagined. He was like the Wicked Witch, and I was Snow White. He was giving me a poisoned apple that would put me to sleep forever. Oh, 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 oh. Fredi was found in a coma the next day. He is not there to blow his whistle, to give the signal for the revolt. So there was no revolt. They put his passed out body in a truck. He could not be revived. And then they bought more trucks and loaded all of the Theresienstadt Jews in the family camp onto them and drove them to the gas chamber. They all lined up. Some of us were spared because we were just children and we could do things that other people could not, but just a few. And then they told them to take their clothes off. They were going to be deloused, given a shower, but they all knew. Nobody believed in the showers anymore. They knew it was a gas chamber. And Fredi lay there asleep in a coma. And they lifted him up on their shoulders. And then the gas chamber doors opened. And they carried Fredi. He was a saint. No, we don't have saints, we have the righteous, but Fredi was a saint. And the long line marched into the gas chamber, holding up Fredi and singing the Hatikva. Oh, 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 oh. And Fredi was bound with the rest. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm John Fisher. This has been Fredi. It's based on a true story. And even some of the more absurd incidents are reported to have been things that actually happened, like pole vaulting into the stockade where the Bialystok children were held. I don't know what happened to Hanso. Nobody seems to know. He probably died. in Auschwitz like the rest. Little Peter Ginz was a real boy. He was an artist. He died in Auschwitz, but his art survived. And his drawing of the moon was taken into space on the Space Shuttle Columbia. That wonderful drawing was actually made it into space. So even though little Peter couldn't, his drawing made it. Tragically, when the Columbia was re-entering the atmosphere, it burned up and the drawing was destroyed. But it wasn't the original. Another copy was made, and that one actually did make it into space. And Dina Babbitt's drawing of Theresienstadt survived. This is a reproduction, of course, but it did survive, showing life in Theresienstadt. And Dina Babbitt herself survived. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been Fredi. I'm John Fisher. This is the Essential Services Project, a Sassy Mouth production. I've been presenting shows live online since the beginning of COVID, and then off and on when Omicron came back, and then live when people get together, and now back online. So hopefully I'll see you all in person someday. I've already seen some people, so I'll be back online at the end of February. I'll be at Arts on Site Theater for 2 performances of a play I did online. Now it'll be live on stage. It's called Shark, and it's about a shark. And you can find out about that at johnfisher.biz. Next week, I'll be back online right here on February 12th for a presentation called Bedroom. And it's not as naughty as it sounds. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm developing it. So please join me for Bedroom next Saturday at 8, and then there'll be another show on the 19th, and then on the 27th, there'll be 2 performances of Shark. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night.